When life feels overwhelming and too much to deal with, it can be hard to know what to do. You need a coping strategy that's stronger than what you're feeling. Hi, I'm Mallory Grimste. I am a teen therapist, and today I wanted to talk with you about DBT's 4 crisis survival strategies. So I want to just take a moment and remind you that coping skills are not meant to solve the problem. They're really just meant to help you hang in there through the intensity of whatever overwhelming emotional experience you're feeling. Problem solving comes later. Dialectical behavior therapy suggests that you remember these strategies using the acronym TIP. T stands for temperature. Most of us, when we get upset or emotional, we tend to burn off more energy. There's a lot of physical stuff that's going on, so we tend to heat up. So literally cooling down our physical temperature can help in these moments. You can do this by taking a shower, running cool water over your face or this part of your forearm. It's a little more sensitive to temperature changes, so that's a great area to run some cool water over. You can chew on some ice or even drinking a cool glass of water, which has some bonus benefits because when you stay hydrated, you tend to feel better physically and you have more energy and focus and motivation. Plus, when you drink water, you produce more saliva, and saliva actually helps to calm us down. If you've ever seen a stressed out dog panting, they're trying to create saliva for that same effect. I stands for intense exercise. Now, of course, please run this through a primary healthcare physician or a fitness professional. I am not one of those. So make sure you are checking with them that you don't have to do any modifications. Now, intense bursts of exercise are not your routine, regular 20 to 30 minutes of exercise a day. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about a short, quick burst of energy. That could be doing some jumping jacks. It could be holding a plank position. It could be holding some yoga poses or stretches. It could even be getting up and pacing around the room. Whatever you can do to just kind of get the energy flowing out of your body will be really helpful. The first P stands for paced breathing. A lot of therapists love to talk about the benefits of deep breathing, and I am one of them. But deep breathing is only one form of paced breathing. So you can do what is called square breathing, which is where you breathe in for a count of 4, you hold for a count of 4, you breathe out for a count of 4, and you hold for a count of 4, and you repeat that cycle. What I like to do is to have my feet flat on the floor because I like to be where my feet are. And then I sit up as straight as I can, but comfortably, almost kind of like, like those marionette dolls, imagining that you have those strings pulling you up. Sometimes I roll my shoulders like this. And then you can either keep your eyes open, you can have them completely closed, or you can have them in what's called half moon gaze, which is where you're staring at something unfocused in front of you. Some people get distracted with their eyes open because they start to notice and see everything around them. Others get distracted with their eyes closed because they're too focused on their running thoughts. There's really no right or wrong way, whatever is going to work best for you. So after you've figured out your sitting and your eye positions, then you want to go ahead and breathe slowly in through your nose and then even slower out of your mouth. And then you want to go ahead and repeat that as many times as you need. Some other forms of paced breathing are called alternate nostril breathing, where you hold one nostril closed and then you breathe in and then you close that nostril and then you breathe out the other way. And then you repeat it on the opposite end. Another variance on paced breathing is to actually speed up your breathing so that you can slow it down. Sometimes when we're panicking or having a panic attack, we feel it coming on. Telling you to go ahead and slow down your breath isn't going to be helpful because everything else is going wonky. If you could slow down your breath, you wouldn't be having a panic attack. So instead, trying to go with it and get control over the increase in breathing can help you then reverse it and slow it down. So you can do this through what's called breath of fire, which is where you just very strongly and shortly breathe in and out very fast through your nose. And after doing about 10 breaths or 10 seconds of that, then try to slow down your breathing and see how that helps. And the last P stands for paired progressive muscle relaxation. You know those stress balls that people have hanging around? You use them when you're really stressed out and you squeeze them and you release them. That is paired progressive muscle relaxation at work. If you don't have any stress balls, that's okay. I like to pretend that you are squeezing lemons or oranges. What you do is you just pretend that you have them in each hand, then you squeeze and release, and then squeeze and release. And you alternate the hands, and that's called one pass. So if you do that 6 to 8 times slowly, it will help to slow down your emotional experience so that you can get focused, clear, and in control, and then you can go to problem solving. I've got some awesome tips to help you make the time go faster and help you hang in there and feel better along the way. If you are into that, please be sure that you hit subscribe and that bell notification so you're notified every time I post a new video. Because sometimes we can't change the situation. So there's 7 different main categories that we're going to go into. They are using your 5 senses to help you self-soothe, movement, and creative expression. So let's hop into it. You can read something, whether it's a book, a magazine, or even the cereal box. Just taking a moment to read something can be helpful. Looking at old photos, whether that is on your phone or an actual legitimate photograph, like in a photo album. Coloring, working on a puzzle, even scrolling through Instagram or TikToks for different videos that just make you feel good and relaxed, that are visually pleasing. And therapists are really cool to follow on Instagram too, because they tend to post a lot of inspirational, motivational, and helpful information. You can also do one of my favorite site self-soothing activities, which is to clean, declutter, or organize your items or space. When you have a clean, decluttered, organized space, there's not as much that you visually have to process, and so you can use your energy towards other things. Focusing on your sensation of smell can be wearing your favorite perfume, body spray, or cologne, or it can be smelling something that you sprayed with a favorite loved one's perfume or cologne. I know essential oils and diffusers are all the rage right now, and there's a lot of information out there about what scents can help you feel or experience different emotions or sensations, whether that is relaxing, calming, focusing, energy, a whole bunch of different things. So I recommend that you look into that if that's something that you're into. You can also light a candle, or you can just go based on whatever scent smells great to you. You might be into saging, so having that smell or scent around can be really relaxing as well. Cooking or baking a special treat that smells really great, or even taking time to clean yourself and take a good shower can really help. Taste is one of the sensations that I think gets looked over a lot, but I really like it. When you drink something really soothing like hot cocoa or tea, that can help you physically relax. Making and eating a healthy snack can help boost your energy, and eating your favorite comfort food can help you feel really good and cozy too. So mint is a taste that is really special because it actually has calming properties to it. When you taste mint, it's a really strong sensation, so you're having to bring your attention and awareness or mindfulness to it, but it also creates more saliva, which will relax and calm you down. Sound is probably one of the more favored sensations out there. Listening to music, which is like the universal human language, am I right? Hit like if you agree. So besides listening to music, you can also create your own music. You can listen to an audiobook, talking to a trusted friend, or even talking to yourself in a silly voice or practicing an accent can all be ways of using sound to self-soothe you. You can also listen to nature sounds or even just the stillness. I think that we don't do enough as a society to just be still and just listen to the noises around us. Physical touch is a great way of using your 5 senses to self-soothe while you're stuck at home. So you can play or snuggle with a pet, or if you don't have a pet, something cozy like a blanket or a favorite hoodie, wearing your comfiest pajamas or some sort of clothing that just feels really great. Taking care of your skin by applying lotion. You can even incorporate in some self-massage here. You might also want to try something that's called paired progressive muscle relaxation, which is where you take different muscle groups, like your hands or your upper arms or your feet, like all throughout, and you just squeeze and release. When you change your environment, you change your perspective, which is why movement is such a great way of helping you get through feeling bored and stuck at home. You can literally move by going for a run or a walk. You can even take your pet dog for a walk. I'm sure they would love that. You can dance, doing some simple stretches or yoga, or following along with any of the YouTube fitness videos that are out there. I really like Yoga with Adriene and Blogilates, but let me know what your favorites are. And if for some reason the weather is not cooperating or don't really have a lot of room to work, just pacing in the room you're in can work wonders as well. Creatively expressing yourself can help get those feelings of stuckness and boredom out of yourself and into something else. So you can do this by painting or drawing. You can do your makeup or your hair. You can even paint your nails. If you're going to be painting your toenails, I really recommend trying painting them red. Red is the color of the sacral or root chakra, and it has a lot of grounding properties. You can try and create new looks from your closet. Writing, whether it's a journal entry, a story, a poem. You can sing karaoke or play an instrument. As you can see, there are so many different things that you can do to stay busy and make the time go faster, whatever the reason is. So I'm sure that I've missed some. If I missed one of your favorites, please let me know in the comments below. According to the internet, only dogs, babies, and young children suffer from separation anxiety, but that's just not true. Teens and even adults can suffer from this as well. This video was actually inspired by viewers like you who requested a video about how to deal with separation anxiety when you're not a dog. There's an overwhelming amount of videos on how to help your dog cope, but not teenagers and adults. So you asked, you got it. Separation anxiety is often heightened by the idea that if I am not actually with the person that I care about and love, that perhaps they will either forget about me or I'll forget about them. Or what if something happens and I can't be there with them? So one of the things that we can do is to use what's called a transitional object. So transitional objects are items that we can tangibly and physically hold and carry with us that take the place of the actual person or relationship. So if we are worried about being separated from our mom, for example, we might have a friendship bracelet that each of us wears, or perhaps we have a photo of her that we carry around. We use transitional objects all the time for shorthand remembrance and recognition of lots of things and people that are important to us. Have you ever noticed that sometimes your anxiety can just grow and grow and grow the more that you think about it? It's like our thoughts work us up. They just keep us going. So one way that you can stop that anxiety thought train is to use a strategy that's called cognitive dissonance. So cognitive dissonance is the idea of creating some separation from our thinking thoughts. So you can do this in a few different ways. You can say the thought again, but in a funny voice or in an accent. You can also imagine that these thoughts are being placed on leaves and floating down a stream far away. And if they happen to pop up again, you can place them on another leaf and let it float away down the stream. One thing that I know a lot of people struggle with when they're first starting to tackle their separation anxiety, they try to complete everything and overcome all their barriers and obstacles in one giant step. I do not advise that. First of all, that's really overwhelming. It's kind of a setup for failure. It's asking you to take this big issue and just solve it in one little jump. And that's just not what you can do. So instead, we really recommend exposing yourself little by little to different elements of whatever is causing you anxiety. So you can do this by establishing a check-in process. Now for some of you, you may need to check in every 15 minutes to start. That's okay. Others, maybe it's a once a day check-in. I don't know. See what feels right and good for you. Another idea that you might have is, let's say that you are going to dance class and typically your parent would be able to sit in the room with you. Now, due to the impact of COVID-19, we know that a lot of these things that used to be okay aren't okay anymore. So if they have a really strong policy at your dance studio that they're not willing to flex on that, perhaps one thing that you could try is having your parent wait outside the room. And then once you get comfortable with that, have them wait out in the car. Once they're good with that, maybe they go down to the coffee shop down the street. And you just take it one step at a time. Now there will be times where you're good to go and you can take it a little bit further. And there may be other times when there's bumps in the road that you might have to take a few steps back. That's totally okay. Progress tends to be spiral, not linear. So don't worry if you feel like you need them back outside the door after they were hanging out at home for dance class. Totally fine, totally normal. And when it comes to struggling with things like separation anxiety, it's so important to be able to talk about the way that you're feeling with other people. Now, I know how difficult and hard that can be, which is why I created a free downloadable cheat sheet, and it's all about my 10 therapist approved tips for talking about your feelings. So if that is something that you're interested in, go ahead and click the link in the description now and you'll get yours sent free to your inbox. And if you're still struggling with anxious and automatic negative thoughts, make sure you watch the video that's on your screen right here, where I'm sharing 7 different DBT coping skills to help you crush those ants. If you found the information in this video helpful, please be sure to share it because you never know who you could be helping in the process. Thanks for watching.